Making video games is incredibly difficult. I've heard people say what separates people from being a commercial indie game developer from a hobbyist developer is that last 10% of your game. Why is it so difficult? Let's talk about that after the intro. Welcome back to Neon Dream Games channel. As I mentioned right at the beginning, finishing video games is incredibly difficult. As I have embarked on this 10 game challenge, I'm realizing as I'm currently in almost my third month of trying to make my first sort of knockoff game that this is taking me way longer than I ever thought it would. And as I feel like I'm at the finish line or nearing the finish line, it also seems like the finish line is stretching further and further away from me. So in this video, I wanted to talk about why that is. What makes the difference between a commercial game developer or somebody who just does it for fun. To preface this, I want to be a commercial video game developer. I want this to be part of my career. I have a different business that I run, but I would like this to be my main business. And I've been thinking about this question, and it's probably a question that I'm going to continue to explore on this channel as time goes on and as I gain further skill and knowledge in this craft. But here's where I am on the subject right now, and I'd love to hear what the rest of you think. Share your opinions and comments below. And while you're doing it, like the video, subscribe to the channel. That really helps me to grow this channel. But let's try to dig in. I am currently making a game called Flutter Plane, and this is a Flappy Bird knockoff. I started this 10 game challenge where I just wanted to get down to the fundamentals of game development, figure out where I was, what my skill level is, etc., etc. It's been a great challenge so far to kind of remake these simpler, small scoped games, but I wanted to task myself with fully creating a game because I've started a few games now and never really finished them. I did release sort of a tutorial game that I made early on, and that's up on my itch.io page. You can go play it if you want. It's called Martian Mayhem. But mostly I followed a tutorial and I tweaked some things to make it a little bit my own. But this time I want to take a game idea, so in this case, Flappy Bird, and I want to make it my own. So I'm creating basically the same game mechanic as Flappy Bird. I'm calling it Flutter Plane. You can check my devlogs out in the channel. I'm still working on it, and I'll have more updates as the weeks go on. But I wanted to pause in my devlogs to talk about this idea of why is it so difficult to finish games, because I got to a point where I can play my game. My game is fully playable. Flutter Plane, you can turn it on and fully just play a level. I even have a random level generator. It could use a couple little tweaks to it, but for the most part, it's in concept, it's a game. It matches Flappy Bird for the most part. And I did that relatively quickly. But to make it a complete game, a game worthy of release, there are other pieces to that puzzle that you would think would be simple and quick and easy, but instead are almost vastly more difficult than the game itself. Now I'm going to have a further devlog about creating menus and stuff, but as a quick snippet to what I'm talking about right now, to finish the game, you kind of have to put all the parts together. You have to be able to get the player from the title screen, which you have to create. You have to create menu systems for them to navigate to start to play the game, to change options, adjust volumes, all these sorts of little things that we all are used to in video games, but don't really think about what it takes to implement these systems. These final 10% things that will pull your game together and make it an actual game and not just a proof of concept demo or prototype or whatever you want to call it. I want to make a finished game. Even if I release this game for free, which I probably will, I still want to make what I would consider a complete game. And I cannot believe how difficult it is to polish up that last piece of it. The amount of code that it takes to make menus and things versus the code that it took to make the game is vastly different. In fact, I'm going to show you. Okay, so here we have, this is generally my level script. Here we have, the basis of a level. We go into the script, and this is it. This is all it takes for me to play my game. Now, it also uses some code from the character node here, essentially the paper airplane. So that has some code there on moving that, and there's some other code, here or there that all play into this level scene. But now, just to do the main title, you can see here all of this stuff, all of this code goes into just being able to navigate the main title menu. To me, it's more complicated, vastly more code, and that was just that. Then I created a menu manager where I can have my options and different menus and stuff. I mean, you can see the nodes. There's so many more nodes for the different menu items. And again, this is just the main code here. This is just for the options menu. This is the code just to run the options menu, and I'm not even sure I'm fully done with it yet. Anyways, it takes all that additional code and all that additional planning just to create all those elements that piece your game together. And then that's not even talking about things like creating a store page or something, whether if you're going to put it on Steam or itch.io, you have to come up with visuals and set all that up. Marketing, if you're going to try to market it, how you're going to do the marketing. There becomes a shift from fun work to tedious work. And I think that's where a lot of people drop off. And that's what separates people from being commercial developers or just people who want to make something fun and have fun with it. And that's where I'm struggling at these days with game development. I'm trying to get over that hump and teach myself, train myself to become disciplined in finishing a game. And that's part of this 10 game challenge I wanted to make for myself. I've seen other people do these things where they essentially do this 10 game challenge or whatever you want to call it, where they recreate classic games. And for the most part, they just kind of make the main game piece and leave it at that. It's kind of a demo. It's something for fun. And maybe that's what I should be doing. But at the same time, I want to take this time to fully hone the craft of making a game from beginning to end and see it to completion. I don't have a current timeline for myself to do this because I'm just trying to fit this in while I'm doing other jobs, other work to pay the bills. Now, of course, I would love to be able to do this full time, and I hope that day comes at some point. But for right now, I just wanted to make a brief video talking about that subject. What is it that makes it so difficult to be a commercial indie game developer? What things have held you up in your projects from turning it from something more than a glorified prototype demo to an actual finished product? It's something that I would love to explore more in this video with you guys in your comments and everything else, but it's also something I would like to explore more in the future, and I'll probably make another video on it as well when I hopefully eventually actually finish my game, release it, and start moving on to another game. So let me know in the comments. As I said, these are just some starter thoughts on why I think it's hard to finish games and why people abandon projects, because I think it's that little final last push to really polish it up and make it into something that looks more like what we would recognize as a commercial released game. So let me know in the comments, what holds you guys up? What is that final 10% for you? What is that last piece that separates the hobbyist from the commercial developer? I'd love to know, love to keep the chat going. Remember to like my video and subscribe to my channel, and we will have many more videos like this in the future, and I will continue to update you on my game development process as well. But until next time, Keep YouTubing it up.
Thanks for checking out Neon Dream Games channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you can stay up to date on all the latest videos we have to offer. Don't forget to leave a comment to suggest what kind of videos you'd like to see more of in the future. See you in the next video.